A national team's most important player is not always its leading scorer, its most valuable star, or its biggest name. At the 2026 World Cup, we will see star-studded squads, exciting young talents, and powerful tactical systems. But as the tournament progresses, every nation will eventually face the same question. When the tactics stop working, who will step up and save the game? In this video, we are identifying the most important player for 13 of the tournament's most talked about national teams, the one player who could change everything. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. We will continue posting videos throughout the World Cup. We are only getting started. First, we begin with a player carrying one of the greatest expectations in football history: Brazil, Vinícius Júnior. Brazil's squad is still filled with major names. Even Neymar's return would be a huge story on its own. But today, the player carrying Brazil's hopes is Vinícius Júnior. That is because Vinícius is much more than a fast winger who can beat defenders one-on-one. He is a threat who can change the entire shape of the opposing defense before the ball even reaches him. One defender is rarely enough to stop him. When a second player moves over to help, space opens up through the middle. When the defensive line drops deeper, Brazil can push the game into the opponent's half. Carlo Ancelotti's system may give Brazil control, but Vinícius is the player who can turn that control into a genuine attacking threat. Argentina, Lionel Messi. For Argentina, Julian Alvarez can lead the press. Enzo Fernandez can control the midfield. Emiliano Martinez can keep the team alive in a crucial match. But Argentina's most important player is still Lionel Messi. That is not simply because of everything he has already achieved. Messi remains Argentina's main decision-maker in attack. He recognizes when the team needs to accelerate, when it needs to slow the game down, and which tiny opening in the opposing defense can be exploited before anyone else sees it. Argentina is no longer a team that depends entirely on Messi. In fact, that is exactly what makes them even more dangerous. The team is not built to carry Messi. It is built to create the perfect environment for him to be at his most effective. But when the game becomes tight, the spaces disappear, and the original plan stops working, every eye will turn toward him once again. Some players operate within the system. Messi can rise above the system at exactly the right moment. France, Kylian Mbappé. France's squad depth is almost intimidating. They have Ousmane Dembélé, Michael Olise, Désiré Doué, and several other elite attacking players. But one name remains at the center of the French team: Kylian Mbappé. Mbappé's impact cannot be measured by goals alone. The threat of his runs forces opposing defenses to position themselves a few yards deeper. That small step backward gives France's other attackers more space and more time. Even when Mbappé does not touch the ball, he influences every decision the defense makes. And when he does receive it, a single burst of acceleration can completely change the balance of the game. France may not need Mbappé to produce an extraordinary performance in every match to win the tournament, but when they face their strongest opponents, he will once again be the player who can turn them from favorites into champions. England, Jude Bellingham. This may be one of the most controversial choices for England. Harry Kane is the team's most reliable goalscorer. Bukayo Saka is one of their greatest threats on the right wing. But Jude Bellingham may be capable of changing the balance of England's game more than anyone else. Bellingham's value comes from his versatility. He can carry the ball through midfield, make late runs into the penalty area, break through the opponent's press, and remain effective in physical battles. When England loses the connection between defense and attack, Bellingham is the player who can bring those two areas back together. But the biggest question surrounding Bellingham will not concern his talent. It will concern his role. Will England use him as a playmaker? Will they use him as a second striker? Or will he operate as a complete box-to-box midfielder? If England finds the right answer, Bellingham could become one of the most influential players at the tournament, but the wrong role could limit his impact. Which choice have you disagreed with so far? Would you select Julian Alvarez instead of Messi? Would you choose Harry Kane instead of Bellingham? Or would you pick a different name for Brazil? Leave your first objection in the comments right now. More controversial choices are still to come. Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo. Vitinha may be more important to Portugal's control of the game. Bruno Fernandes may create more chances. Rafael Leao may tear defenses apart in open space. But the debate over Portugal's most important player still centers on Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's presence changes the way Portugal operates inside the penalty area. Whenever a cross comes in, he is the first player the defenders look for. When the ball enters the box in a decisive moment, the entire stadium thinks about the same possibility. But this time, the biggest question is not how many goals he will score. Can Portugal balance Ronaldo's strengths with the needs of the rest of the team? If they constantly look for him, their attack could become predictable. But if Ronaldo is used as a finisher at exactly the right moments, a single opportunity could change the entire tournament. For an icon preparing for what could be his 6th World Cup, this is not simply another tournament. It could become one of the final great chapters in football history.
Spain, Lamine Yamal. Spain can dominate possession. They can build passing combinations through midfield and keep their opponents trapped around their own penalty area for long periods. But having possession does not always mean you can break down a defense. That is where Lamine Yamal becomes indispensable. Yamal is the player who adds unpredictability to Spain's structured style. Instead of playing the pass the opponent expects, he can cut inside. He can knock a defender off balance. Even in an extremely tight space, he can create a shot or deliver the final pass from a situation that appeared to offer nothing. Spain's collective structure makes them one of the strongest teams in the tournament, but when that structure becomes locked in place, they will need an individual spark. The player carrying that responsibility before he even turns 19 is Lamine Yamal. Perhaps the most frightening part is that nobody knows where his limits are yet. His career is only just beginning, and this World Cup could become an enormously important stage in his development. Germany, Jamal Musiala. For Germany, the choice may come down to Jamal Musiala or Florian Wirtz. Wirtz is an outstanding player who reads the game, connects the different areas of the team, and delivers the final pass. But when Germany needs an individual action to unlock a tight match, Musiala offers a different kind of weapon. When Musiala receives the ball, the defense's entire plan can fall apart within seconds. His ability to change direction in tight spaces, glide between defenders, and remain composed around the penalty area gives Germany an unpredictable attacking dimension. Against organized defenses, Germany may sometimes become too controlled if they rely only on the speed of their passing. Musiala can create chaos from within that control. Netherlands, Frenkie de Jong. Virgil van Dijk is the leader of the Netherlands. Memphis Depay remains an important part of their attacking production, but Frenkie de Jong is the player who determines how the team plays. De Jong's role is not simply to pass the ball. Under pressure, he can carry it out of danger, move beyond the midfield line, and set the tempo of the Netherlands' attack. When the opponent blocks his first passing option, the Netherlands can become more direct and predictable. But when de Jong has the freedom to turn, the team's attackers receive the ball in far more dangerous positions. The Netherlands' ceiling at this tournament will not be determined only by the quality of their defense or the efficiency of their finishing. It will also depend on how effectively Frenkie de Jong can escape pressure in midfield. Japan, Takefusa Kubo. Japan's greatest strength has always been their collective structure. Disciplined pressing, quick passing, and total commitment to the system make them a very difficult team to beat. But at a World Cup, organization alone is not always enough. To move beyond the round of 16, a team needs a player who can step outside the plan. For Japan, that player is Takefusa Kubo. Kubo can start on the right wing, drift into central areas, and create opportunities from angles the defense does not expect. His first touch and quick decision-making can turn Japan's structured attacks into a genuine threat. Kaoru Mitoma's speed and one-on-one ability are also major weapons. But when we look at the creative center of Japan's attack, Kubo may be the most important key. Morocco, Achraf Hakimi. Morocco's success in 2022 cannot be explained by defending alone. This team knows exactly when to move forward, when to wait, and which channel to use after winning the ball. Achraf Hakimi is at the center of those transitions. Hakimi is much more than a right back. He gives the attack width, carries the ball forward at high speed, and pulls the opposing defense toward his side of the field. When his runs begin, Morocco can transform within seconds from a team defending its own goal into one attacking the opponent's goal. His experience and leadership also become extremely important when the pressure increases. For Morocco to produce another major surprise, disciplined defending will not be enough. Hakimi will need to turn that defensive resistance into attacking power. Mexico, Santiago Giménez. Mexico has the energy of being a host nation, but it also carries the weight of being a host nation. The supporters will not only want to see a team that fights, they will expect to see a team that produces results in front of goal. That is why Santiago Giménez could be Mexico's most important player. Giménez's role is not simply to wait inside the penalty area. He must battle with center backs, push the defensive line backward with intelligent runs, and convert a limited number of opportunities into goals. Of course, Raúl Jiménez's experience makes this selection controversial. But if Mexico wants to create a new attacking identity at this tournament, Giménez should be at the center of it. Mexico may control possession, push opponents backward with the energy of the crowd, and deliver cross after cross into the box. But all of that preparation only becomes valuable when there is a finisher capable of providing the final touch. United States, Christian Pulisic. For the United States, the 2026 World Cup is not simply a sporting tournament. It is a major opportunity to change the position of soccer within the country while playing on home soil. The player carrying the greatest share of that pressure is Christian Pulisic. Pulisic is the most reliable player in the United States attack when it comes to receiving the ball, moving the game forward, connecting the wing with the center, and taking responsibility in decisive moments. Of course, Weston McKennie provides physical strength and energy. Tyler Adams protects the balance of the midfield, but how dangerous the United States looks in attack will often depend on how involved Pulisic is in the game. If the opponent isolates him near the sideline, the United States may struggle to create opportunities. But when Pulisic receives the ball while facing the goal, he becomes a shooting threat, a passing threat, and a one-on-one threat at the same time. On the host nation's biggest football nights, he will be the player standing under the brightest lights. If you enjoy this type of World Cup analysis, please like the video. And if you still have not subscribed to the channel, do not forget to subscribe. The final choice brings two young stars into the same debate. Turkey, Arda Güler. For Turkey, the choice comes down to Arda Güler and Kenan Yıldız. Kenan is a major threat who can attack the goal directly, compete physically, and play in several different attacking positions. But when we consider Turkey's creativity and the quality of their final pass, the most important name is Arda Güler. Arda does not need to control the game for all 90 minutes to change a match. One touch around the penalty area, one pass behind the defense, one long-range shot, or one set piece could completely change the score. Turkey has a young and fearless squad with major attacking potential, but the team needs a player who can turn that energy into the right decisions. If Arda disappears from the game, Turkey's attacks may become disconnected. But if he receives the ball in the right areas, he can make every attacker around him more dangerous. We have covered 13 nations and 13 different stars. Which teams and players not included in this video do you believe could attract attention at the tournament? Share your ideas in the comments below and we can discuss them in the next video. The most important player does not always end up having the best tournament. Sometimes a new star emerges. Sometimes the system becomes more important than individual talent. Other times, the player carrying the greatest expectations can fade at the most critical moment. Now it is your turn. Which players on this list would you replace?